Okay, so today we're going to do some package installation. And I've got two kind of similar but different scenarios here that'll cover a beginner starting a brand new package on foundation, and over here on this hive, a colony that has not made it through the winter, has lots of drawn comb and stuff. We're going to put a package in that, okay? So we're going to start over here with this colony that has the foundation in it. And I've set it up, and I've deliberately plugged the entrances on the entrance reducers with grass. And the reason why is I want to slow down bees down so they don't come rushing out of here once they're installed and drift. A lot of times people have problems with bees drifting when they install more than one package or they have more than one hive, okay? So this hive right here has all foundation. It's just standard frames. They're pre-assembled, pre-waxed foundation. If we take a real close look here, we'll see it's got a little bit of wax on it. You can't see much of it, but it's plenty for the bees to get started. There's a lot of talk on the internet about having to re-wax frames and so on and so forth. I see no need for it. If you got the good conditions inside the hive and plenty of nectar coming in, the bees will draw these combs perfectly. But if you decide you want to add additional wax to it, it's not going to hurt, and the bees will have a little easier time once they start drawing the foundation because they'll have that wax to work with. So let's get over to our installation. Okay, I got a package right here set up, and the first thing you want to do with the foundation is you want to fill your feeder. So this is just simple syrup, 1-to-1, nothing fancy about it. I use the division board feeders inside. I don't happen to have the ladder system in this one. I'm going to fill it right up. It takes a little less than 2 gallons of syrup here. So you get that ready, set the syrup aside, and we've got our package here. Standard package. It's got a plywood lid on the top, and you pry the lid off, and voila, nothing happens. And the reason why is because if you look at this thing really closely, here's the queen. She's under this metal disc, and then we have this feeder can that's used to temporarily feed the bees while they're in transit. So first thing we got to do is we got to put the queen in. So you put your hive tool, pry this up, put the cover back down so the bees don't fly out. First thing you do is you look inside your queen cage, and you want to make sure that the queen is alive, and that there's candy up here for the bees to gnaw through. You can see this queen here. She's got a green dot on her. She's alive and healthy. The bees are not attacking her. They're pretty good. So you take off this metal disc, and that exposes the candy that's in here for the bees to eat and gnaw out so that the queen can be slowly released. So we're going to use an elastic band to attach this queen to the frame. Very simple process here. Put your elastic like this. Put your your queen on the frame just like that. Pretty simple setup here. Then you just take your queen and the frame, you sandwich it between another frame very close to the feeder. It's important that you put this queen very close to the feeder because the bees are going to cluster around her, and by default they're going to be right next to their feed, okay? So it's a pretty simple process. You want to install the bees? I'll show you how we're going to do it. We're going to shake a few of the bees into here, replace the frames, and then it'll be kind of self-explanatory. We're going to put a shell up above to attach these bees to. So here we are here. Shake the bees down. Pull out the feeder, just set it aside. Dump some of the bees right in. Pretty easy. Temporarily close that off. I'm going to put the rest of these frames back in. I'm going to put my inner cover on. It's stuck here to the inside of my top cover. We'll dig it out. Come on, baby. Out you go. Here we go. Put my inner cover right here. Going to take the rest of these bees, turn the package right over the hole. I'm going to put an empty hive body on top just to protect this package so that the bees will slowly go back down. They'll all run down into the lower box with the queen in it, and I'm going to leave it alone. Before I quit, I'll plug this little hole in the inner cover with a wad of grass, and that'll take care of that. Okay, over here, we've got a second colony. And this colony did not winter over. It came through the winter with a lot of honey left in it. I mean, these are just solid frames of honey. I mean, you can take a look over here, and you can see that it's all honey. It's probably got a lot of capped over sugar syrup that was stored last fall. This hive did not starve to death, but they probably had a mite issue and did not make it through the winter. So I've got 4 frames of solid honey in this hive, okay? And a lot of times people don't know what to do with it. Put that honey in there. Let those bees go to work on this honey right here. They'll turn that into bees, all right? At this point, because we have so much honey in here, there's no need to fill the feeder, okay? All we're going to do is we're going to install the queen and shake the bees in, and we'll be all set to go. So here's my package, and basically the same thing that we did with the foundation, except we're going to mash it into the combs, mash the queen into the combs. So here we go here. Same thing, pry out your queen cage, put your cover over the hole, just set it aside over here. Once again, I'm looking to see good fat queen here, not being attacked by the workers. Probably been together for a couple of days because these packages were shaken a couple days ago on the truck. They arrived here in Connecticut yesterday, and so they've been, you know, probably four days together. So they're probably pretty close to accepting this queen. And really easy to install these queens, all right? Same thing, just find a little corner in the comb. You can scrape out a space, mash that in there like that, and then you just take it down here, mash it into the other the other frame, and there you go. We'll install the package. Same as we did with the hive on the foundation. Shake a bunch of the bees down into the hive. You're not going to get them all in. Don't really need to. Put the rest of your combs in. And by the way, these 4 combs in the middle, they are empty combs so that the queen has room to lay once she gets released. I'll put the inner cover on, get rid of the garbage. Put the package there. Add an empty shell. Put the cover on and let it go. Like I said, before I quit tonight, I will plug this entrance in the inner cover with grass too. And the reason I plug them up is because when it's warm and sunny, the bees are going to try to fly out. They haven't identified yet with this actual hive as their home. So I would leave them overnight, and tomorrow morning I would remove the grass and let them slowly become acclimated to it, flying, and they'll find their area. They've now, out of the package, so on and so forth. Big question that comes up a lot of times is, how long should I wait before I check to see if the queen is out? So these bees are going to take care of that queen, whether she's in that cage or she's out of that cage. And the important thing that you need to do here is you need to remember that they need time to get used to their new hive. They need time to get used to the new queen. And the longer it takes, the better off you are. So I tell people, look, wait 7 days before you do anything looking for that queen. I can think of maybe in my 40 years of keeping bees, 1 or 2 instances where a queen has not been released by the bees inside of a week, and then you got to actually release her. Sometimes you get a hard candy. They can't chew through it as fast as you'd like, but they're going to take care of that queen. So you go back in a week, and you should find the queen has been released, and you should find that there's eggs and possibly very young larvae already established in this colony here that's got combs. Over here, the same thing with this one that's got foundation. They will have started to draw the foundation, and there should be a few eggs, larvae, and so on and so forth. It'll be interesting to see how these colonies compare when over here they moved into this hive. It's got 4 solid frames of honey. It's got 4 completely drawn combs. All they've got to do is organize the brood nest the way they want to see, let the queen out, and then let her get laying eggs. This colony will build, initially, will build a lot faster than this colony over here because they don't have to make the comb. So it'll be a good comparison. We plan on in 10 days, this is another question that comes up, you know, should I treat the bees with oxalic acid when they're in the package? I don't like mixing up the smells and tastes and flavors of the bees by putting oxalic acid on early into the system, early into the life of the colony. So what I like to do is wait 9 days, or 7 days to 9 days. Doesn't make that much difference. They're established. This brood is being reared, but it's not capped. So all the mites that are in this package, if there are any, well, there'll be a few, will still be exposed because the brood won't be capped. And you can just treat them with oxalic acid at that time. I use the dribble. I much prefer the dribble over the vaporization. And you should be able to get 98, 99% of any mites that are in that package eliminated before that. So probably we'll do another video in 7 to 9 days or so, and we'll show how to do that oxalic acid dribble. So leave these alone. I would go back to this one that's got a feeder in a couple of days, check to see if the feeder needs to be refilled. They'll have used quite a little bit of the syrup. Tomorrow morning you can come in here, the packages will be empty. Take the packages off, take this empty shell off, cover the hive up, and you're all set. So that's pretty much all there is to installing a package.